Hi, it's Paul from HobbyLink International. Today we're going to have a look through a book from Nuts and Bolts. This is one of their older ones, in fact volume 26. This one is all about, get this right, 15cm SIG 33-1, basically the Grille. This is part 2 on the Ausf H. Okay, let's have a look inside. Nuts and Bolts, volume 26. It's one of the older ones, but it's pretty much in the latest format, so the same layout and the same look and style as the very latest one, so up to about volume 41 right now, I think. And this one's on the 15cm heavy infantry gun 33-1, blah blah blah. Basically, the easiest way to remember it is Grille Ausf H. The H is important because there's a model starting off with the introduction development. Basically, they were going to put a 15cm heavy infantry gun on the Czech 38T chassis. The original plan was to move the engine in the chassis, move the engine to the front, but that was going to take too long, so as an interim they just used the chassis as it was, with the engine, I think, in the middle, and basically that became the H. Once they'd the Ausf K was the one where they moved the engine to the front. So development and technical description. Black and white period photographs throughout. The English is perfect. Then production, there wasn't too many of these made. There's even the differences between prototype and production vehicle of the H. There's a big list here because Dragon does a kit of the prototype version as well, and externally looks mostly the same. Inside it is very different. In fact, the author even says on the prototype, everybody was sat in the wrong places, people would have got in each other's ways, so it was almost like it was designed to cause as much trouble as it could. But obviously the production version, they sorted out the interior and everybody was sat where they were supposed to sit, things were in reach, and it was much better. So camouflage and markings, more technical stuff, organisation, how many of these you'd find in a unit. Delivery to units, there's a typical vehicles of the company. Delivery to units. Service history until 1945, and here's a big list of basically all the various divisions that had them, how many they had, when they had them, and there's quite a lot of information there. Volume 22 is where Nuts and Bolts did the Ausf K version, so there's a few updates to that. That's my dog barking. And then there's a whole section on modelling the vehicle, big list of all the available models and update sets. Acknowledgements, bibliography, 12 original references used. And then onto basically the meat of these volumes, these books, is the original black and white photograph, or photographs in general. It starts off with the original black and white photographs. This is the prototype. And full details of the interior. You can even see where the wiring is going for the radios. On the production line, close-ups, toolboxes, inside the toolboxes. Personal emblems on them. North Africa. A captured one. So there's lots here. Basically every sort of angle you might want to see is here. Lots of really good ideas for dioramas, since you know, a diorama looks realistic if you based on a photograph, because then it is realistic. There's lots of information here. The following series of photographs was taken by a soldier in the workshops. Do you want a close-up look at the engines? Inside a gearbox, how about that? And then onto the 1/35th scale line drawings. So it's often good in these just to make sure things line up and you get an idea of where things are based on this photograph. Sometimes can be a bit unclear. So that's the prototype, inside walls of the prototype, and then onto the production version, and then colour plates. Basically these are based off images, black and white images, and this you'll see is in the this somewhere in the photographs. If we go to S44, turn to page 44, you'll find this photograph, and that's the rendition of that vehicle, and so on and so forth. So there's plenty of colour plates there to give you ideas for painting, and photographs of existing vehicles. I think until recently, well, reasonably recent, I say recently, this book was published 2011, I think it's on the website anyway. There wasn't an Ausf H in existence, but then this one was pulled out of a river in Austria, and I think they actually delayed publishing this until they could get to go and see this and take photographs, which makes sense. So there's loads of photographs of the one that was pulled out the river, even down to engines, obviously part of dismantling, crankshaft. There's all sorts of details here. They even pulled out personal items out the river as well. So that's sort of starting refurbishment. And then the colours, everything's rusted, but all the parts, well, most of the parts are still in the right places, so you can see where things go. And you get loads of photographs